Hi friends, good morning. All throughout the month of March, whether in your homes or in our classrooms in our church building, we have been learning about different people in the Bible and how they chose to follow God. From Noah to Joshua to Esther, it wasn't always easy, but these people chose to follow God in their circumstances. And so today, this last Sunday in March, we are ending this unit with one more story of someone who chose to follow God. And his name is Daniel. Now, I'm not going to tell you the whole story of Daniel here. You can do that in your classroom, or you can do it at home if you're worshiping with us from home. But I want to use a little question and experiment to get us thinking about the story of Daniel. So my question for you is this. Have you ever been afraid of anything? Can you think of anything that you're scared of? Take a minute and just think about that. What is something that you're scared of? Now, most of us have something that we're scared of, and maybe it's spiders, and maybe it's the dark. It might be anything. And I want you to imagine that your fear is here in this cup. This glass says fear on it, if you can read that. And this white stuff in the glass is going to represent our fears. And now I'm going to pour it into this glass that represents you. It represents any one of us, but it represents you. And so I'm going to go ahead and pour those fears in, whatever those fears are, whatever things you're afraid of, or something that maybe makes it hard to fall asleep at night. Sometimes those fears, maybe they seem small, but they can really be big, right? They can really, really fill us up. And then in this glass, I have faith. Sometimes when we have a big fear, we need to remind ourselves of our trust in God. When we put our trust in God, it doesn't mean those fears disappear forever, but it means that we trust that God is in control, that God is bigger than those things that we fear. Let's see what happens when we pour the faith on top of the fear. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. This is a scientific experiment, so let me put on my safety goggles. Don't try this at home without a grown-up. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Faith is bigger than fear. With faith, our fears don't necessarily disappear entirely. Like as this reaction finishes, you can actually see there's still some of that white stuff at the bottom. But when you watch that cloud of blue overwhelm the cup and flow out, that's faith. Faith is bigger than us, right? It was bigger than this glass. Faith is bigger than fear, right? When we added that faith, it was the blue that came out, right? The blue of the faith. And if you look in this glass, you can actually see the blue is on top of the white, if you can see that. The faith is stronger and bigger than the fear. It covers our fear. Like I said, it doesn't mean that the fear is gone, right? We are still going to have fears in our lives. Just because we know God and love Jesus, it doesn't mean that we'll never be scared again. But it does mean that we can trust that God is there with us, that our faith in God is bigger, and God is bigger than those fears, and that wherever our fears are, God goes with us too. And he promises that we will never be alone. We will never be without him, no matter what. So keep that in mind. Kids, if you're watching this, keep that in mind as you learn about this week's story. And adults, if you're watching this from home or in our sanctuary, now you know a little bit about what we're learning about today. And so if you pass a kid on your way out of our sanctuary this morning, you might recognize them because they will have some very cool craft stuff. It will be very visible. You might ask them what they learned about faith and fear and the story of Daniel as he chooses to follow God. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.